So gwoh from rolling would look something like this. I give my opponent an impulse, he then gives me an impulse, I react to that, he gives me a movement in return, I can respond to that, and so on. This is probably a good moment to mention that all the movements you see being practiced here form part of the various sections of Chi-sao training, which amount to around 50 in total, each comprising a specific action and reaction drill that can be practiced as part of Chi-sao exercises. This is probably also a good moment to cover what, in my humble opinion, are the two most common misconceptions and problems in Chi-sao training. The first of the misconceptions is that it looks too soft and ineffective to be useful in practice. Of course, the purpose of Chi-sao training is to develop fluidity in movement, but at all times you maintain a constant forward flowing pressure so you can feel what your opponent is doing, and at no point do you allow him to completely collapse your structure. The second related misconception is that strikes in Chi-sao training appear to lack power. Now, of course, for the purposes of training, it's very important to learn a precise control of distance and to stay somewhat relaxed to avoid injuring your partner. But that's not the same as saying you can't apply power if you wish to. In Wing Chun, you learn to develop targeted power in strikes by training on the wall bag, focus mitts, in the forms, and eventually on the wooden dummy as well. And I'd certainly encourage you to check out some of the other videos covering those topics on the site. I'll briefly cover a couple of the common problems in Chi-sao training in a moment. So if we're practicing rolling Chi-sao, Pun-sao, and we progress from doing simple stepwise movements in gwoh to then starting to break contact, the principle you would be training is, for example, if I break contact to come with a strike, you should be immediately stepping forward to fill that space with a strike. Likewise, if my hand retreats, if I pull back to strike, he should be stepping forward. So from rolling at any point removes his hand from the centre line, I'm immediately flowing forward to fill that space with strikes. So whilst you see us practicing here some of the basic drills to train flowing forward whenever the space becomes clear to do so, I'll explain a couple of common problems that one encounters in Chi-sao training and development. The first common problem relates to the directionality of pressure and concerns maintaining at all times a forward flowing pressure that is never lateral or perpendicular. Okay. The second problem is essentially the classic problem of Chi-sao development, which is learning to become less rigid and use less strength by training the Chi-sao sections to develop sensitivity and reflex skills. Thank you very much for watching. We'll cover some of the key aspects of Chi-sao training in the remaining videos in the series. Please comment and subscribe and like if you appreciated the content.